No chance in hell, ladies and gentlemen. You've got no chance. Welcome to the GodisaGeek podcast. My name is Dan Murphy, and joining me, as ever, is the lovely Mr. Greg Hill. Gregory, how are things?
Yeah, they're doing not bad. It's been a long week, even though it's just started, but yeah, getting there slowly.
It's literally Monday night.
Yep, you just know me, I'm a lazy bastard.
Oh, how are you? All right, otherwise, then it's been 2 weeks since the last podcast. We had a bit of a break last week for reasons and whatnot.
Yeah, no, it's been going fine. Just been playing Overwatch religiously, and
yeah, you need to play something new, for God's sake.
I know, I really do. I've been kind of dipping back into my old habits like Sims and stuff like that, so it's been kind of a varied week, but yeah, it's been okay.
And also joining us, ladies and gentlemen, a new comer to the podcast, a debutante, if you will. It's our long-standing Overwatch squad member, teammate, compatriot, comrade. It's Mr. Jim Payne. Jim, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for asking.
That's all right. Now, Jim, me and Greg know you are because we've spent hours together delving on Overwatch tactics.
Yeah.
Me stressing out at fucking maze and whatnot. But these listeners, they may not know the extent of who you are. So, Jim, just briefly, or as extensively as you like, who the bloody hell are you?
Briefly, I'm a staff writer for a website called entertainmentbuddha.com, and I do that occasionally. I wouldn't really call myself some kind of professional. But yeah, I play games, play a lot of Overwatch, as you all know.
As do we all.
I'm increasingly getting frustrated with Overwatch, but
we're probably going to talk about it first, because that's every podcast starts like these days.
It does.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I'm just an average guy, the average gamer. I'm one of the people.
Okay, and what are your favourite game genres / favourite game?
I don't want to be a bit of a cliche, but first-person shooters.
Okay.
Definitely the runaway favourites, first-person shooters.
Interesting. What's your favourite of them all?
That's a difficult one. Because I'm going to choose a game called Armour, if anyone knows that one.
I've heard of it, but it's something way beyond my...
Yeah, I mean, I said first-person shooter, but it is also a simulator and loads of other things as well. But yeah, definitely Armour is probably one of the best ones there. But on a more arcade tip, Halo's always a good shout, and Rainbow Six Siege at the moment I am absolutely playing the shit out of, because I just can't get enough of it.
Interesting. Cool. Well, speaking of first person shooters, there is a massive game that we should be starting with, but we'll do what the fuck we want. Overwatch.
Never heard
Greg,
of it.
why are you getting frustrated with it?
Oh, I don't know, right? I've been playing it. I'm almost at actually I don't know how many hours. It's I'm at 70 hours plus, right? So that's quite a lot actually. But I don't know. Every time I go on, I'll play a couple of games. I'll go on to play it myself, and I just I get a couple of games in, and I just find out I can just see myself getting so fucking angry. I'm furious, and
see, I was like this from the very start.
And I just want to launch my controller across the room, and I just sit there, and I have to calm myself down. I'm it's a fucking game. Calm down. But I ended up just quitting out, and I actually was about to get a penalty for quitting so much, because I'm a wee rage quitting bastard. But
same.
I don't know. I think that changes when you play with one person, even just one person or a group. It's better with a group.
I don't play with less than 4 at this point. I can't be bothered.
Even when you play with one more person, I find personally it's a different fucking game. I enjoy it so much more. Even when it's just 1-on-1, 2 people on a team, and then you've got the rest. But it's just so different. I don't know why. I can't do the maths and work out why it feels so different, and it plays so much better, and I don't get furious or anything like that when I'm with someone else. Maybe it's because I don't want to embarrass myself, but
I don't give a shit about
that. You don't give a fuck at all, but it's, I don't know.
But then again, I mean, you're kind of justifying it in a way. I mean, it's a team-based shooter, and if you're not playing in a team, you're not going to have as much of a good experience as full teams. But then again, even in full teams, as we know, it can be just as frustrating.
Yeah, I think it's just because there's a kind of, you don't feel connected to your teammates at all. Even if you've got one person, you feel you can coordinate yourselves. But when it's just you alone and 5 other people alone, it just feels like they're all doing their own thing, and there's no way, like, there's no commands or anything. Like, if I'm killing people and I want people to go to the point because it's clear, I can't say, like,
true.
there's no command to say go to the point.
The only thing there is
They're
that
just, like,
group up, isn't it? And that's kind of pretty ineffective.
I know, it's not really doing what you want, and I don't know, I get really pissed off because I feel like no one's doing what I want to do, which is always the best way, ultimately.
The only time I can play it on my own is if I'm not paying that much attention to it and I'm just listening to a podcast or music or watching a TV show. It's just like I can cope with it as like a nice background game when I'm not asked, and I can play it on my own then.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I need to be in a team because it just frustrates me. But the most frustrating thing at the minute for me is that the servers have suddenly gone to shit. I've been on it twice in the past week or two because I've been weighing myself off it and I've been busy and whatnot. But each time the servers have gone to shit halfway through a session, and I'm like, I don't get how it's gone to shit now when at launch, the time when servers usually go to shite, it was absolutely perfect. One of the best launches for a game that wasn't Call of Duty I've ever witnessed for an online thing. And it was perfect. And now it's suddenly going really laggy, like unplayably laggy. And it's just frustrating. I'm like, right, see you later. I'm going.
Like, when it happened to you a few days ago or something, it actually happened to Adam as well. It wasn't happening to me, but I feel like it's like kind of happened a lot more recently for me. Like the past couple of days at least, I've had to like quit out a few games because the lag is just unbearable. Like I'm clipping into walls and try to shoot people, and then you find out you're dead and you didn't see yourself getting killed, and it's really, I think that also adds to your frustration. Like if you're not doing that great and then you're getting clipped through walls, like it would fucking put tits in you. But it has went downhill. I really don't know why.
Yeah, I can't.
Maybe a break from it.
I definitely haven't experienced it as much. I've seen other people lagging, but myself personally, I haven't noticed it. But I don't know.
It might be because I've moved home and my internet at home isn't as good as it is at uni, but nah, I'm not blaming my house. I don't know. I still love it, but I'm not like in the first month or two. I was like on it every single night, like not eating tea because I was just that enamoured by it and realised I was hungry. And now I've just weaned myself off it a bit, but it's still going to be my go-to game for like ages, I reckon. Especially because we've got so many people playing it. Thankfully,
the thing is, when it works really, really, really well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely magical.
Oh yeah.
Song.
That's the hook, isn't it? When you like, I don't like an easy victory. I mean, yeah, right. We all enjoy an easy victory for the the XP, but I like a hard fought.
The competitive games. Tell you what, that's just my theory, and I've had it for a while, and I'm trying to write an article about it. Well, I will do if ever fuckers ever get back to me. But Overwatch is like football in so many ways. Like, as you said, then crushing victories. It's like 6-0 when you smash someone 6-0 is fun, but you don't want it every week, so it'd just be fucking boring. And then the matches where you have to dig in deep, hold the defensive line, and just fucking fight for your lives are probably like the most thrilling games. And when you just make it over the line in the last second, they're type of like thrilling victories. And there's loads more little aspects. It reminds me of football, but that's one of the big ones, and it's great. But I think we should stop fucking talking about Overwatch because there's been an epidemic. The word for disease.
Epidemic.
Epidemic. Something has taken over the world. Little wee creatures have been fucking ravaging the countryside and the cities and the touristy points and the roads and the streets. And us, 47 million of us across the world, have been staunchly out in our numbers to catch these little fuckers. And of course, in talking about Pokemon Go, it released a week and a half ago in America, finally last week in the state, over here.
Thank fuck.
It's taken the fucking world by storm. Like, when my mum knows about it and has downloaded it, you know it's fucking mainstream as fuck. When they're talking about it on the political broadcasts, you know it's taken over the world. So, Greg, have you been catching those wee Pokemon?
Yeah, I actually have. The first day it came out, I think I was the first person in the country to download it because it downloaded so fast. I was straight on the servers and I was like, fucking yes. Like, I had been hyped for it so much. I'd been texting everyone I know saying, oh, I need fucking Pokemon Go like yesterday. Like, please, when will it release? So my dog, who I don't usually walk because that's usually someone else's job in the house. I was like, right, Roxy, we're going to fucking walk. So we went out a walk and dragged my sister with me. I was like, we're going to all these Pokestops. Usually we take her like elsewhere, but I was like, we're going to fucking Pokestops, which are like but I live in like a small town, so they're miles away. So I was like, let's fucking walk to the Pokestops. Went to the Pokestops, got like 3 fucking Pokeballs. I was too low level to join the gym, and the Pokemon, like, I could find them. They were really hard to find sometimes. Like, and like I've got iOS 10, like the public beta, so it doesn't work with my camera, so I can't see them in the real world. I have to go to like the regular, like it's just like a wee virtual world they're in.
Okay.
So I don't kind of get the thrill of catching it on like someone's head or whatever, which is kind of sad. But it's been okay. Like the first day I used it, I was like, oh, it was actually pretty fun. You have to have it running all the time though when you're out, otherwise like you can't catch them, which is kind of annoying. But the first day was fine, and then it slowly progressed into not connecting to servers, and then eventually it's just got to a point where I think I'm probably going to delete it, because I don't see myself ever going back on it, because I don't really see the point. I would rather, I don't know, I don't know what I'd rather do. Like, I don't have any other games I really play on my phone, and I think it's a really good idea, like on paper, but then just how many fucking bugs there are, and how bad it is, like how bad it is connecting, and then sometimes the Pokemon don't appear, or you'll catch them, and then like they'll go in the Pokeball, and then it'll freeze, nothing will happen.
Yeah,
and
I've had that.
I feel
loads.
It's a disaster in it. I would like it to work better, and then I would consider going back to it. But like as of right now, I just cannot be fucked with the hassle of having to like restart the app every time I want to like catch Pokemon, or like traveling all that. I don't mind like going out walks or whatever, but it's not really built for small towns either, because there's hardly any Pokemon. No. So that's a fucking disaster as well. I'll see how it goes in the future, but
I'm going to say that I've actually deleted it. I've been trying for the last couple of days to actually play the thing, and I did successfully manage to play it for a little bit, and I was having all the bugs that you were just saying there, Pokemon not appearing, going inside the Pokeball, the app freezing, having to restart it. And then I just got some bug where I couldn't even log in. It would actually freeze on the login screen. And the only way for me to sort that out was to delete the app and re-download it. And it's happened so many times. I just thought, right, I'm not re-downloading it. I've deleted it. Yeah. It's gone. I'm just going to wait. Bide my time. Hopefully that'll sort it out, and I'll give it a go later on. But I don't know. I mean, I missed the Pokemon hype train the first time round or the second time round. So I don't know. I enjoyed it for the amount of time that I had it. But like you say, it's just shonky app.
Yeah, it's just a disaster, I think.
Yeah, it's bad. It's obviously put out it was obviously put out when it should have had been given more time. It wasn't ready. There's nothing to it apart from the catching Pokemon thing. I think it is a shit game. Like, the game itself is shite. There's nothing to it. It's a shit game. I downloaded it even. I caught a Weedle in the house. And then I walked to a Pokestop. I did fuck all, so I was like, right, see you later. Binned it.
Right, I want you to explain something to me. You guys obviously are much more knowledgeable about Pokemon and what goes on in the universe. But do I have to actually search for these things? Like, there's like piles of leaves that seem to just pop up. Do I need to search there? Because sometimes there was something there, sometimes there wasn't.
Yeah, that's same with me. Like sometimes they just wouldn't spawn. Like I use like incense, and because my house, I actually think it works depending on how densely populated an area is. So like I've not been to Glasgow. Like I go to uni there, but uni's obviously off for the summer. So if I was there, I'd be like catching them like fucking willy nilly. But
also, if you get to an area before me, and do you catch it and I don't get it, or can we both catch the same one? Does it work like that, or is it once it's been caught, it's gone forever?
I actually don't know, because my sister was like, well, can I get it and I can get the Pokemon before you get them? And I was like, don't be so fucking twisted, and B, I don't know, actually, like, you'll have to like download it, we'll have to try, but we've not tried it yet. I'll keep you posted on that one.
I do think it's competition. I think it's like there'll be like a Pikachu in an area and one person gets.
There's got to be a cooldown, though, surely.
I have no idea, to be honest. I've not honestly not paid that much attention to it. So, like I said, I think it is a shit game, but the fucking phenomenon it's been in society,
it's been crazy.
It's just taken over. It's absolutely sensational. And the stuff that you hear about people setting up laws at children's hospitals, so kids who are like that's some bedridden,
really nice stuff. Yeah,
stuff like that. It's been incredible, and it's just been really nice to see the reactions of it. So much positivity and the myriad of shit we've had over the past 2 weeks, let alone the past month.
It's been pretty weird, I think. Like it's not. Nice. It's had so much press coverage. Like even like mostly by tabloids, to be quite honest. But a little bit. I've seen a few like Guardian articles and stuff like that, but tabloids covering it, and you've not really seen that much coverage of a game since like
Flappy Bird.
Like, no, I would say like Grand Theft Auto or something like that. Like how violent it is, or it's just like insane because they used to like blame those video games for like people getting murdered and shit and like manhunt. But like, I actually got a funny story about Pokemon Go because I work in a large not a department store, like a supermarket, right?
Everybody knows where you were.
Okay, that's fine. But so I had a woman come up to me yesterday while I was at work, and she was returning a phone. Right, usually like at the customer service desk where I work, we don't accept like phone returns. Like there's a phone shop up the back, so we just send them there. It's like they'll deal with it, but it was shut. So she was fucking furious. By the way, like she'd bought this like Motorola Android phone, whatever, for her son because he was he wanted to play Pokemon Go, so she bought it solely for Pokemon Go. It was like £85 or something like that. I was like, the app's free, so that's just fucking stupid. Buying like a fucking phone just to play this app that doesn't even work that well. It works better on iOS than it does on Android. That's what I've heard. But she returned it. She was absolutely furious, and she was like pure like roaring at me as if like, why isn't that working? And I was looking at it, and I've never had an Android phone, and I was like, I have no idea. And it just wouldn't work at all. So I was like, okay, I'll do the return for you just because Pokemon Go wouldn't launch. So I had to return this fucking phone, and she was like, I've been in here 3 times today, and I'm fucking disgusted at the service. And I was like, right, okay, I get it. It was weird because I've never had someone like return something for such a stupid reason.
Yeah, a bit trivial.
It was pretty hilarious. Absolutely
it's
hilarious.
Quite amazing. It's quite the stories that have been coming from it, like fucking motorways being backlogged and fucking people being robbed.
There's some
People
kids
finding
getting
dead
shot at as
bodies.
well.
Yeah, some people getting fucking falling off cliffs, people going to private property and getting shot, fucking people finding dead bodies, people getting lost in caves. It's fucking amazing. What an absolute game. What a fucking beautiful dystopia we live in.
I know.
It's absolutely amazing. But Jim, are you looking forward to playing it again once the bugs are fixed, I guess?
Yeah, I am actually. I mean, maybe because of all the hype, because of all the stories that I'm reading about and seeing. And I didn't really I didn't get to give it a fair go. So, yeah. And, like I said, I missed out on the whole Pokemon craze. I mean, I must have been about 18 when it first...
Just too old, probably.
Yeah, so I mean, by that time I'm out on the piss and I don't really give a shit what 9 and 10-year-olds are up to. So I've kind of ignored it. And now, like, and another thing is something to get me out of the house. Anything that gets me out of the house is and walking and active and socialising, because a lot of my gaming stuff,
a lot of people have underestimated that.
is just so centralised in my house. So yeah, anything that gets me outside and get talking to people or doing something, that's
walking.
Yeah, walking
more than anything. It's just I like that a lot.
Yeah, the physical aspect of it is excellent.
I think actually it's really good for kids. Like if they, I mean, like I was talking to my mom about it, and she was saying, "Oh, this Pokemon Go, it sounds like insane." And I was like, "But you don't think it's like a good thing? These kids are like going outside, like even if it is like at their phone or whatever."
There are people who are mourning. Kids don't go outside anymore.
I know.
They're playing games.
Yeah.
And then like I actually saw like a Facebook post, and it was like a woman who had like an autistic son. She was like, she wrote a big long post saying that he had like went out and he'd been talking to people, and like he's usually dead reserved, like couldn't speak to anyone. He was too like socially anxious because he was autistic and stuff like that. And he was out talking to people, like chatting to these other kids because they were like catching Pokemon and stuff like that. And like I read it and I was like, I don't know if it was like 100% true or not, but it was just really nice to read. It was just to see that like a game like someone on someone's phone can like have such an impact on someone who's perhaps struggling socially or something like that. It can have such an impact on their life. It was really strange, but it was really heartwarming because you just would never expect something like that from a game that was just meant to be for entertainment, not for anything else. It was pretty nice to read.
I hope it lasts, like that kind of nice euphoria that seems to be sweeping across people. I genuinely do hope that lasts, and I'm a miserable old pessimistic wanker, so like for me to say that is quite something. But generally, I do, because there's not a lot of that in society in general. Like I think a lot of it's not going into the wider political sphere, but the world just seems completely fucked right now. So anything that's really positive and really heartwarming and on a real personal level is just, I think it's great.
I think it is as well. It's like, it's nice to just see that the news, obviously the news is really depressing right now, but it has to be, like, they have to report it. It's not like they can just ignore it. But I do agree, it is nice to just see something that's just light. It's nothing really too
Friendly,
serious.
positive, and nice and happy. And then you have the old miserable fucking twat heads just going, you shouldn't be fucking playing Pokemon, be miserable and fucking die. It's like, go and kill yourself.
I was nearly one of them.
Misery merchants.
I was nearly one of them.
Yeah, well, good job you're not Jim. I might be saying you to go and swing on the gallows, but thankfully you're one of us. You're one of the good guys, and that's alright. So, Jim, aside from Overwatch, the constant Overwatch, the never-ending Overwatch, give us a game you've been playing this week or last week or whatever, and how is it, and just talk about it, lad. You know where these things go.
Right, well, I'm going to talk about Kerbal Space Program.
Ooh, a game that's been out for at least 25 years.
It's the console edition of Kerbal Space Program. And because obviously it was released on the PC, I think last April.
Yeah, but it'd been in like early access, whatever,
that's right,
for at least a decade.
Been in early access for many, many months.
Well,
it still very much feels like it's in early access. There's
even on console.
Yes, and I'm going to start by
ideal.
Yeah, well, I am going to start by saying that it is quite buggy. So much so that today I actually had a corrupted save file, and I literally cannot continue my game. So,
fuck.
It does have issues, but I still love it. I'm totally in love with it. It's the type of game that suits a boring old person like me because it's very meticulous. It's very slow paced. There's a lot of planning involved, and it's physics based. We're talking about building a rocket to send it anywhere in space, or to orbit the planets, or rescue another astronaut. So it's all about running a space complex. I would like to say NASA, but it's got its own version of people called Kerbals, and they're like little green marshmallow looking people. And it literally, the fun of the game is
corrupted minions.
Yeah,
they do.
They look like corrupted minions. Yeah. So the whole purpose of the game is to literally build something, see if it can fly. If it can fly, can you get it into space? If you can get it into the space, can you get it to the moon? If you can get it to the moon, can you land on the moon? Can you build you can build like a little, like the rover craft, the little buggy things. You can build them and drive them on a surface, and there's lots of things to explore and stuff. But I absolutely love it, just for the simple sandbox nature of can this work? Can I make it work? Can I get it here? Can I do this? Can I do that? And yeah, I love that. I genuinely do. It's great. However, like I said, loads of bugs, and also the UI is terrible. Is it
not work well on console?
No, not at all.
See, I hate that. That's my pet hate for PC to console games. Like, I've not played the Prison Architect on PS4, but I feel like it'd be one of those games. I actually have heard good things about it. No,
Prison Architect on PS4. What they've actually done is they've taken a PC game and made it for consoles, rather than taking a PC game and can just completely porting it, wholesale. And Prison Architect, they really worked on the UI, and you can buzz through the menus and navigate everything. It's very, very, very quick and intuitive and a breeze. It's not stressful.
Yeah.
Whereas
I just think that's one of the worst things, like, for a PC game going to console. Like, if the UI, like, it's like so different using a mouse and keyboard to a controller, and that has to be like rebuilt, I think, from the ground up. Yeah. Otherwise, it's fucked from the get go.
Well, quite literally, there's a mouse pointer in Kerbal Space Program, and if I remember, it's mapped to the right thumbstick. Could be the left, can't remember, but it's mapped to a thumbstick. So that's how you navigate around. And because obviously there's hundreds, it's a simulator. It's you've got hundreds of different key bindings and this, that, and the other that really can't translate that well to console. And I was talking to Adam in the party last night, and I said the controls are a barrier for entry. They really are. That's the first thing, the first wall you have to break through before you even get into the game, is getting through the really obtuse controls.
Do you reckon it's just better on PC then, just for that?
Yeah, if you've got a PC, then I would definitely get it on PC over console. Not because of the modding scene and all that kind of stuff that usually is associated with the the master race, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But no, definitely the controls. It just being able to quickly switch between things, right click on stuff. I mean, you can do all that with the controller, but it's so cumbersome that in the middle of trying to sort things out when you're traveling at half the speed of light or whatever, it can be a little bit frustrating because you can spend 2 hours planning something and then trying to execute it, and I mean 2 hours in real time, and then for all that to just mess up because you couldn't get somewhere quick enough or do something quick enough, or things are too cumbersome. It becomes a nightmare.
So it's not the best to play on console.
It's not the best. It's still good though. That's the thing. I'm really torn because like underneath all that crap and all that shit UI and crappy controls is a great game, a fantastic game, a game that I'm absolutely loving because I've learned loads. I've learned, we're talking like astrophysics and like I never knew and I knew things were complex, but I didn't realise like how to understand how complex something like getting something through the atmosphere is.
It sounds to me like the type of game that I'd have in schools to teach.
I think it's probably a good idea to have it in schools.
It absolutely could, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so apart from the getting people to space and all the what is the appeal to it? Like just like narrowed it down. Why do you like it so much? Just because of the micromanagement and the astuteness you have to get.
I think it's experimentation. I think for me it's experimentation. It's right. Okay, if I can bolt this, most people will probably do the classic thing of going right. Okay, I'm going to build a comedy kind of like penis-looking rocket, and I'm going to attach the most powerful boosters I can to it and just send it. See how fast I can make it go, and 9 times out of 10 that'll end in catastrophic failure, and that's all good fun. And I think there's people that will do that, and they probably won't get much value out of Kerbal because you can only do that so many times before it gets really boring. And then you have to break through this kind of, like I said, learning how to get out of the atmosphere, making sure you have enough thrust, you got the weight right, because it deals with so many different things like heat, gravity, thrust, aerodynamics. So it's all mixed into one. It is a genuine simulator, which you don't usually see on consoles. So that is something unique about it. That like there's nothing else like it at all on consoles, and that will appeal to people. But for me, it is experimentation, definitely.
I think Nicola's playing it from the site right now. A tweet has come up and she's put space in capital letters, so she seems quite
we had a conversation earlier because she was... I've done quite well at Kerbal, and I've kind of self-taught and read. I kind of tried to keep it so that whatever the game provided me, I didn't want to go to the wiki, I didn't want to go to the forums, I wanted to make sure that I learnt it from what the game was giving me, and I managed to get to the moon.
So it can be done? Yeah,
I managed to get to the moon, orbit it, come back around and land safely. And Nikki was speaking to me and she was like, oh, how do you do this and how do you do that? And I said, oh, you got, I pointed her to certain pieces and certain parts that she needed to do to make a craft lighter so that she could get, punch through the atmosphere, and also to use certain things. And the game is very bad at like nudging you in those directions, which is a real shame because you have to figure that out yourself and go, all right, if I use a pilot, not an engineer, the pilot gives me stability, whereas the engineer will allow me to repair something. And the game doesn't explicitly tell you that. You have to figure that out for yourself. Or it might hint at it, but it doesn't kind of reinforce the point home.
How much is it?
I don't think it's priced in the UK as yet, but I think in the US, which is it's already released, it's $40, so it is pretty steep.
30 quid.
So yeah, about 30 quid. It is steep.
Sounds to me like a sales game at some point, probably, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm usually never good with intricacies and whatnot.
It's one of those games, if you like flight sims, if you like physics based, it's almost like a puzzle game, I suppose, because you're figuring things out. If you like that kind of stuff, you're probably going to buy it regardless.
Yeah,
but most people probably want to wait.
£30 does seem a wee bit steep for a game that, if it still feels like an early access. Is it still an early access on PC? I'm wondering.
No, it's full release.
Is it out?
I feel like it's a game that you need a demo of because it's
I would like that.
And they could absolutely do that. They could give you like just a couple of the tutorial missions as a demo, and you'd be perfectly happy with that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What can you do? Speaking of sales and whatnot, I duped into the sale and finally got a games I've been wanting to get for ages. Had it on PC, but of course I'm a console gamer at heart, so I finally got it on console. Banner Saga. Finally got balls deep into that. it's cracking, I must say. It's I think Chris reviewed it on the site when it came to console.
Yeah, he did.
If I'm not mistaken. And that, unlike so Banner Saga is it's an RPG, I think, but it's like a what's it bloody called now? Like when the story's told through text, like a choose your own adventure type thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you can pick what you want to do.
Yeah, but there's there's some nice visuals in it which are stunning, and there's combat which is satisfying. I feel like, because I'm just not one really for tactical stuff, because I just my mind won't think that hard when I'm playing. I'm just stick it on easy, just rinse through it. It's fun. It's satisfying to just twat a guy and watch him crumble. I say it's good fun. I feel like people get more enjoyment out of it if they're into that type of stuff and put it on harder difficulty than I will. You know, you'll get use of all the different stats and the items and all that type of shit. But otherwise, it's really good. There's some of the visuals are absolutely beautiful, very much like a Disney film type aesthetic. Really nice fairy tale type stuff. When you see your caravan moving across these snowy vistas and whatnot, and the story's really cool. It's a Viking-like society, and the people who are alive. So there's two races of beings. There's the humans, and they're the Val, which are giants with big ass horns coming out their head, and then they live in harmony, kind of hate each other, but getting by. And then there are these things called the Dredge, which are basically the White Walkers of this world who've come from the north and have started killing everything. Spoilers for the White Walkers. It's really. It's. I thought the story would be a little bit more. I don't know. I thought it'd be a little bit more Game of Thronesy, a little bit more. I don't know what the word is. I just thought it'd be a bit more. I thought the choices you'd make would have a bit more of an effect, and I thought it'd be a bit more like Fire Emblem, when if someone dies in battle, they stay dead. It's like it happened to me at the beginning of a game when one of my characters was killed in a battle, and I was like, oh shit, I just got this guy killed. He was quite cool, and I didn't know. And then he was dead. He was dead afterwards. I was like, right, so you can die. If you die, you're a goner. That's it. And I was like, right, I wonder if that's how. I thought that was how it would go for the rest of the game. But as I went on and other people would fall in battle, I was like devastated. And then it got to the end of the battle, and he's there talking. So it's like, I don't know if the other guy died because he was supposed to die, and that's because of the story, or if they had just kept him alive, would he have been in the story going forward? So I thought it'd be a bit more Fire Emblem-y, where people, if you died, you stayed dead, which would have improved the stakes a bit more and made me think about the battle a bit more. And
it does sound a bit tough. Are you kind of those people that like permadeath, or do you not like permadeath?
Well, no, usually, but
you just usually hate it.
Not hate it, but what happens to me when I play permadeath stuff, it gives me like a sense of really bad dread, and then I just end up not playing it because I don't want people to die. So when I played State of Decay on the Xbox 360, on that, your characters you get are permadeath, and I was so fucking scared of them dying when I'd leveled them up and shit. I was like, I just can't play anymore. But I feel like in this, where it's a lot more story based, it would have been cool to see how the story adapted and stuff as it went through.
Is that why there isn't permadeath though? Because they couldn't adapt the story?
Well, I imagine that is why. Yeah, because there's some indie studio doing it. Stoic games, I think.
Yeah.
So obviously they probably can't afford to do all these different branching paths that have to change if your character dies, which is understandable. It's just that's how I thought the game was built up to be.
Is the second one out? I know there is a Banner Saga.
It is,
too,
yeah, it is. I got both of them in like a deal. Get them both, get some money off. My problem is I'm going towards the last battle now, and I did a mistake when I picked something, and the battle basically became impossible to do. So I was like, right, I have to load it back, and it loaded it back far away than I was expecting. So I was like, right, I'm giving this a break before I have to go through all this again.
Yeah, I did that when I fuck it.
Yeah, I'll be moving on to the second one soon. I'm really looking forward to it because, even despite I feel like I'm a little down on it because it wasn't what I expected. Because it was a bit different to what I was built up to be. But the story's really good, and some of the character moments are really cool. And there's like a Red Wedding-esque type scene, not quite red. There's a betrayal, and it's fucking really well done. Apart from the fact that it's a little, I felt like if it was just a little more brutal with the way it kills people, I think it'd be a lot better. But like I said, alas, what you could do. I really enjoy it. I'm looking forward to playing the next one.
I'm definitely intrigued by it.
I'm glad.
And
it does look really good, yeah.
Yeah. Carry on, Greg, go on.
I just think it does look like a bit like Game of Thrones. I've obviously we're all fans here, I hope. But of course, well, obviously you are, Dan. You do a podcast, but it does look really good. I think it reminds me of Fire Emblem when I see gameplay of it. It reminds me of Fire Emblem a lot, and I only played my first Fire Emblem game this year, and it does really look like it. If it's still on sale, or if it goes on sale, I might buy it. I don't know.
The first one is on sale now. The first one's on sale.
I might actually grab it.
I think it's really good. It's not as long as I thought it'd be as well. Actually, it's probably about 12 hours or so, depending on how you do combat. 10, 12 hours. And it's nice, but I thought it'd be a bit more sprawling. I thought it'd be a long thing, but it's not really. Which, is it a tearjerker? I feel like I've maybe read somewhere that it makes people cry. There's been moments where they're quite emotional, but I've not experienced a tear-jerking moment yet. I expect I might do at some point.
Is there any kind of
when I get to this bit.
like any kind of resource management? Because I take it you're travelling on this big long journey, so do you have to worry about supplies and provisions?
There is, but either because I'm on easy difficulty or because it's just how it is, I didn't feel like there was too much. The thing is, I think there's not many consequences to your actions as it was billed to me as. So like, I was on this like journey, and I ended up running out of food, and like my caravan was dying by the day. Like I was losing so many people because I had no food left, but it didn't seem like there was much. There doesn't seem to be a consequence of that really. Like maybe if my morale in the camp was a bit higher at the point where this betrayal happens, it might not have happened, but it's impossible to say. I feel like it would have done because it feels like a story moment. But it doesn't feel... Maybe it's because just the way it's gone, and I'd have to play it again and see if there's any changes. But it doesn't feel like there's many consequences. But there is, like, you have food supplies, you have 20... Like, you'll say you have as many supplies as whatever, the number of supplies doesn't matter, but it gives you the number of days of food you have. And if that goes down when you're travelling, then you start losing people. But I only realised, like, right at the end of the game that you can buy more supplies in markets.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Never knew that until the end of the game. I was so annoyed.
That's ideal.
But I imagine it'll come into play more on harder difficulties. So I might play the second one and a bit harder to see how that goes.
You got to live on the edge a bit, Dan. Easy's for saddos.
Can't be arsed.
The thing is, but a lot of games really come into their own when you bump the difficulty up. You know, like
I know they do.
Pulls all the systems together.
I don't really like to sail through games. Like I don't like to be overpowered though. Like I don't like to be fucking hammered. But I do enjoy a bit of a challenge.
My problem is that I don't like having to be stuck on the same area over and over again because it just makes me get bored of it and feel like I'm losing the moment.
And then you just turn it off for good.
Exactly. Well, never. I wouldn't say like for good, but it's just that I can't be asked continuously playing the same thing because I just get annoyed with it, even though I'm liking something. So you know what I mean. It's a give and take. But Greg, as we said earlier, you've not been playing much recently, just Overwatch, but you've also been playing Sim/Civ. How's that been going for you?
Yeah, it's been going quite good. After our last podcast and hearing Mikey talk about Civ, I was like, fuck, I need to download Civ like right now. So I did actually, as soon as I left the podcast, I did go and download Civ. And I forgot how many like rulers there were because there's so many you can pick from. You can get like Bismarck and Alexander the Great. You get Attila the Hun, Gandhi even, and you get Genghis Khan and
big Genghis.
Yeah, you get Suleiman the Magnificent as well, and he's actually quite a good character to play. But I can't remember who I picked actually. I think I played as Morocco or something like that. But I actually did enjoy it. Was it Morocco? I think it was Japan, actually. I think I played as Japan, obviously.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
And so I played as Japan, and I set up my wee city, Kyoto. And so, like, basically, you get all these tiles. You have to, like, get these tiles. So I was earning them all. I was making loads of money off them, loads of food. And basically, it's not a race. Well, it kind of is, actually. It's a race to advance your civilization as far as you can get. You can wipe out other civilizations by going to war. As Mikey said, you can either conquer them or become friends with them, and you're trying to research all these technologies like the wheel, and the wheel's a bit early, but stuff like glass making and stuff like that, and sailing. Like, you have to learn all this, otherwise you can't kind of progress. Other civilizations might enter Renaissance eras or medieval eras before you, so they can get access to more troops, more technologies, different buildings, etc. And you can build ancient wonders of the world as well. You can build like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, but only one civilization can have them. So if someone builds them before you and you're in the middle of building it, it takes like 40 turns to build this one building, and it takes, honestly, it's forever But if you're like one turn away, but someone else has built it before you, like it just gets wiped, and it's so fucking annoying because I kept trying.
How does it work if you're like? So why can't you build? Let's say you're fucking, I don't know, whoever lives in Babylon. You make the hanging gardens. What stops people from making the clusters of roads? Then, like the Greeks or whatever.
It's just like you don't have to be like you don't have to be in Egypt to build the pyramids or anything. You can build them just about anywhere, but there's only one in the world allowed because it's like a wonder of the world. So if everyone was just building the Great Pyramids of Giza, like it wouldn't exactly work. But it's because they give you like a bonus as well. Like they'll mean you earn more gold from like selling whatever, or you get more like visitors to your city or more civilians, whatever. But I ended up actually like deleting it because I got really frustrated with the fact that like the kind of warfare aspect of it. It really ended up pissing me off because you can have so many troops, but you're basically just moving along tiles, and there's only one set of troops allowed on a tile, and the cities are on tiles as well, so you can form like a big circle around a city and go to war with it, but like manoeuvring troops, and a lot of them, if you've got a huge army, it's hard to like keep providing for them, but also if you've got a huge army, it's so fucking hard to move them from one place to another. Like if you're trying to move them across the country to go and like capture, say, like Munich or whatever, which like it depends, like it's not like set out in a real world map. Like Munich can be like in Africa. It just doesn't really matter. It's just based on the randomization. But
this sounds weird.
Well,
if
you
you're
can
like,
have it as a real world map.
Yeah, you can. It's up to you. Like mine's wasn't. I wanted it to be a real world map, but it wasn't. So if you're trying to move all your army, like if all your kind of platoon or whatever, to one side of the map, like across the country, it's so fucking hard because you can't like click and select multiple of them. You have to like click one and then put it over, and then click one and put it over, and it can take like up to like 20 turns if you're going that far a distance to move them, and it's fucking a nightmare. And I was like, fuck this. I had a huge army, and I was like, I can't be fucked like attacking anyone because it's going to be a disaster. So I was like, fuck it. I ended up just deleting it, but it was really good. Like it was good while it lasted. So that
it did not last long.
That was my escapade with Civ 5, and then I played Sims, but it wasn't like that fabulous.
Did you ever get to the point in Civ when like you have like Gandhi sending over like 5 nukes and just wiping out entire cities?
I've never got that far. Like I've only got, I don't know, it wasn't I've got further than medieval, but it's been such a while since I've played it. I did get into the kind of modern era, but I've never had like nuclear warfare because I ended up just like the games would eventually just like die out for me. I'd eventually just get kind of bored, move on to something else. But it is good. Like I actually might download it again. That I've been talking about it. I'm so easily swayed. I played Sims as well. I played Sims 2 because it's like obviously the fucking best one. Then I downloaded Sims 4 to play, and I've been kind of playing it again, even though I hated it to begin with. So I'm playing it a bit more.
Is it any good, Sims 4? Because my girlfriend has been hovering over the buy button for some time. And
like what's our favourite Sims? Like Sims 2 or Sims 3?
I think I don't know actually. I think she would say Sims 3 just because it's more recent and had much more content.
See, I actually like both. I like Sims 2 and Sims 3, but when Sims 4 came out, it was so like bare bones when it came out. Like at launch, it was a disaster, and I didn't really enjoy it at all. It has got a bit better. It runs really well on my computer, on my Mac, but it still feels a bit like, I don't know, there's something like, I feel like there's something wrong with it. It's not as good as the previous ones. It might be worth like trying it out, like buying it. You can get it cheap now. Like you can get a key or whatever for it for pretty cheap. So I would tell her to try it because it's worth giving it a bash. Because some people really do love it, but some don't. Like it's usually the die-hard fans that don't really like it. The newer fans kind of tend to like it more. But because I've been with The Sims since like Sims 1, it feels like a totally different game. But yeah, I'm kind of sticking with it. See if it gets any better. My sister's been playing it as well. She says, "Oh, it's so much better. You need to keep playing it." So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm playing it.
It's like got more of an emotional aspect to it, isn't it? From what I've seen of it, it's more about Sims' emotions and their interactions rather than house building and basically decorating, which is what I used to use The Sims for. It was kind of like an architectural thing for me.
It is, and it's not. It's a lot less colourful. That's why the building isn't as like fun. Like the tools are there, like it is intuitive, like building tools, but it's so like the colour palette is so muted. I don't know why. Like there's no like bright colours in it, and the emotional aspect is just it would put tits in you because the emotions are all over the place. Like 1 minute they're inspired, and then the next minute they're like very uncomfortable. I mean that's a direct quote. Very uncomfortable, and then they're like happy, and then like it's so hard to like keep up their emotions, and like their promotions at work depend on their emotions. Like it's just all over the place. Like it doesn't feel like it works all together in like a big harmonious kind of party. That was probably the worst description of a game ever, but yeah, it's not.
What about some
it's
woohoo?
not my fave. Woohoo, you can do it in the shower now. You can do it
Excellent.
any way you want, just about.
Is there any dogging?
But no, as a fuck, I wish. I think you can public woohoo in like changing rooms at clothing shops.
Oh,
but
get
apart
in.
from that,
Fucking get in.
I know it's raunchy as fuck. Actual 18 plus, thanks. But yeah, I'll stick with it. We'll see. I'll update you next time in my wee family.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cute. I got a Wii U this week, Gregory and Jim, and the only game I've got with it thus far is Mario Kart 8. It's cracking.
The only one
innit?
worth it, really.
Meh, tell you what, I want Splatoon.
Oh, that's good.
I want Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I'm surprised by that, actually.
Because I like. I don't know if I like the combat, but I just want to be that world. That world looks fucking stunning.
It's a very in-depth JRPG, Dan.
I played Persona 4 Golden and Danganronpas.
Honestly, they are nothing like Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah, I know they're not, but I want to experience that world because I've seen videos of it. It just looks stunning.
It does look great. I need it as well.
And then maybe the Mario Galaxies and 3D worlds of this world. Maybe
Super Smash.
Apart from that,
Duh.
Zelda's as well. No, I have Super Smash on the 3DS, and unless my mates will play it, like what I've got it for, I think it'd be good. I'm going to take it uni next year, obviously, and I'll grab a PS4 in my room, and you can actually get Netflix on the Wii U, which I was surprised about. But that can go in the front room, and that can be for the nights when we can't be out going out because we have no money. Get some cheap cans in from the Tesco and just have a bash.
Oh, it sounds idyllic.
Wii and whatnot. So I think Smash Bros might be good for that, but I'll have to see because that game will be £50 after the nuclear apocalypse.
Oh god.
The Zeldas, I want to get Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and all that not. But I think the thing that interests me most is the virtual console stuff. So I don't know, should I play Majora's Mask on the Wii U? Should I play
Mahora? Who's that?
Majora's Mask, shut up. Should I play Earthbound? Should I play these old Mario games and all the old Zelda games? Should I play them, Jim?
I don't know because they've got. This is a bit of news, obviously, but Nintendo have got the the NES,
yeah, that's a good show.
mini NES emulator, whatever, or is it a console? It's got to be an emulator, isn't it?
It's a console, isn't it? But I think it's a console, but you can only get 30 games.
And I mean, that's going to be a success. I'm pretty sure it's going to sell. I mean, it's Nintendo, so it's going to sell a fucking fuck ton. So I wouldn't be surprised if they then go and make a mini SNES, which is the one that I would definitely buy. Not too keen on a NES, but a SNES definitely. So maybe that might lead to further iterations. So I don't know. Like, if I would get a Wii U, and like the thing that appeals to me is like you're saying, the is it emulated on the Wii U as well?
It's just virtual console, which I think is just.
Or is
I don't
it
know if
streamed?
the games are in full screen.
Oh, they're really like.
No, it's definitely a game that you buy.
The virtual console games are so expensive. That's why I've not bought any
No,
of
they're
them.
alright at the minute. They're only like £8. Well, it's
£8.
like £9 for a game that comes out in like 1986 or whatever.
Yeah, but like if the NES, like the NES Mini, if it comes out, it's like £50,
50
and you're getting like
yeah.
30 games. Like it's weird. I think it's just for the luxury of playing it on your brand new it's not exactly brand new. It's quite old now, but your spiffing console, and
because it's really twee as well, isn't it? So like people are like, oh look at my look at my little NES that I've got, and it's just
yeah.
On the virtual console stuff, is it full screen and everything?
I actually don't know. I've not bought any because I don't like to be robbed at gunpoint by Nintendo.
But is Earthbound good, Jim? I don't know if you played it or not.
What was that?
Earthbound,
never played it.
I really want to play it, but I haven't.
Is it good?
Kind of plucked up the guts. I've heard it's absolutely amazing, but I haven't played it. I have a Lucas amiibo sitting waving at me right now, but I've not played it.
I need to find where the cheap Wii U games are at because
so
expensive.
if you find out, tell me because I fucking need to know as well.
I've been trying to stinge off everyone on the Slack chat.
So what about second hand? Are they still really
I've
expensive?
tried. They're still fucking. They hold the price so well, which is testament to the quality of most of them. To be fair, but
Splatoon is really cheap. It's like
it is. It does.
oh no,
look
it's
cheaper
not
than
actually. I bought it for
it's
like
like 20 quid, 26 quid.
I bought it for like 15 like the other week. Like
Where from?
not like it's probably like a month ago, maybe 2 months now. It was a really long time ago actually, but it's £28 on Amazon now. That's a fucking joke.
I can swallow 20 quid eventually at some point.
What other games you looking for? I'll just price them now. Get comfy.
Xenoblade.
That's it's still
Xenoblade.
really expensive. I think
Yeah.
it'll always be expensive though. Oh no, it's 26,
Xenoblade, Splatoon.
29.68. That's amazing.
And then I've probably Wind Waker, which I know is 20 quid as well.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. If it will load. Oh no, it's only 17.98 on Amazon now. That's actually really good. I got it with my Wii U, so.
But as I was saying, Mario Kart 8's cracking. It's beautiful. It's lovely. Great fun. I'm going to get another controller at some point so I can play it with pals and whatnot. Great cracking fun. And I also finished Uncharted 4.
How was the end? Because
The
I've
best Uncharted. Right, okay. I don't want to spoil it, but I liked it a lot.
okay.
I
You have to
can
spoil.
also
You have to
have
say it now
people
because
gone.
I haven't played it and I've not seen the end. So unless
It's soppy as fuck.
you object, Jim, to like being
No,
spoiled.
I won't spoil it. I'm not going to
I've
spoil it.
played
It's
and
not people
completed
like
it, so
Oh,
Right, okay, Jim will agree. I think it's obviously very, very, very soppy, like beyond soppy. But I just think it suits what Uncharted is. Its light-hearted nature, and I thought it was genuinely really lovely, very nice, emotional, and it's just nice to see someone. I'm not going to say that bit, but it's just nice to see how it ends. I really liked it a lot. I hope they never go back to Uncharted again. I hope they leave it kaboot, done, dusted, because I thought the game was perfect. I didn't like the other Uncharted because I thought the pacing was just pedal to the metal all the way through. But in this one, the only bit of that, like story-wise, I didn't like how it starts with a bit in fucking that's actually like 3/4 of the way in. I did not like that at all. And I think the bits in Madagascar, I think a bit in the island. So you know the island bit, Jim. When you leave Madagascar and you go to the island, I think a bit of that could have been cut. I feel like you spend a bit too long there, and it started to lag a bit.
yeah,
But I feel if you cut a bit of that,
I'll agree
Probably
with
the sewer
Nicola
bit.
because we were talking about it, and she said that she thinks
she said
the
this.
game gets in the way of the story, and I actually agree.
Yeah, and I do, and that's what I agreed a lot with the first Uncharted, because like I really didn't like the combat in the other Uncharted. Thought the shooting was shite. I didn't like how they just threw like 8 big fat fuckers at you, which were impossible to kill. Everyone knew where you were all the time. There was no chance to escape. I really did not like them. But this, I feel like, until you're getting towards the end, I thought they were doing a really good job of spacing out the combat nicely, so that it wasn't becoming a... And then it just gets... When you get to the island towards the end, then it starts to buckle a bit, and it's just throwing... It's the classic Naughty Dog thing of giving you hard battles as you go closer to the end. They do it in everything.
I'll tell you what I enjoyed the most, actually, was just the vistas. The fucking
it's beautiful.
stunning.
Stunning.
Unbelievable.
Like Madagascar and you're in that car is fucking
Yeah.
gorgeous. But I'm not really connected to these characters in Uncharted.
Same.
I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the start of the second one, then fucking grounded through it, and I started playing the third one, and I had to quit. It was just I just couldn't do it. It was doing me head in. But this one, must have played it all in a week, if not that, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think it controls a lot better. And I was right. As I said, as podcast listeners would say, they learned so much from The Last of Us in terms of talking, like characters talking to each other, and the melee combat and the stealth. We learned so much from it. The shooting felt a whole lot more better. Each gun felt different and had a bit of impact about it. They started throwing the odd big fucker with the body armor at you, but it wasn't excessive.
In fact, I can only remember 1 or 2 of those.
There was the first one they throw at you is when when a big building you're in collapses and they rappel it in.
Yeah.
And then they probably throw 2 every battle after that. But they were a lot easier to kill, I found. But again, I was playing easier difficulty because I'm a pussy. But who cares? I really, really enjoyed it. My favourite bits are just the character moments. Like my favourite bits are like in Madagascar, Sully and his brother are just in a car, and just how they're talking is just really good. I just love how they talk to each other.
It's really natural, really well done.
It really is, and the the first 2 chapters are amazing. I said this on last week's podcast. They're absolutely stunning. I really could write an essay about it. And I think them 2 chapters really link really well with the last chapter, which is why I don't mind it as much. Plus, I'm a soppy guy. But I think my favourite bit of all, despite that, is the animation of the characters is fucking stunning.
Yeah.
Sully just looks astounding. Like, they just... And it's always nice to see, like, an old man in a game that can kick ass. What a dude Sully is. What a fucking lad. But it's just so good to see. The animation is out of this world. It's probably the best looking game I've ever seen.
The thing that I enjoyed the most about Uncharted is how much, like, it's got my excitement levels ready for The Last of Us 2. Because, like, seeing the leap from Last of Us to Uncharted 4, I can't wait to see what they do with the second Last of Us. Because, I mean, I love The Last of Us. I really did. It's one of my games of the decade, no doubt.
Yep.
I play it almost every year, and I didn't play any of the previous Uncharted. I've watched a little bit of Uncharted 3 and a little bit of 2, but I hadn't played them. I didn't have a PlayStation, so I never got actually to...
See, I did that, and I got the collection. It might have been because I burned myself out on them, because I was playing them all in a row.
Bit of fatigue.
Honestly, the last one is just the absolute pinnacle. It's so good, and I kind of wish they could like redo the other ones in that style. But
the point I was making is that even though I didn't play the other ones, I still really enjoyed playing Uncharted 4. Like I said, there were elements of the game that got in the way. That the climbing just turned into a bit of a button mash for me. I was just moving in that direction. I enjoyed that though, and just pressing the button over and over and over. So.
I actually didn't mind the climbing. I quite liked it because I thought it just looked good, and the feeling of the swinging.
I like that. Yeah.
The only bit it annoyed me is when you had the same old bit of rock's gone there. It's like, right, we've seen this 800,000 times. And of course, it still has the same problems where it goes, Nathan Drake isn't a cold-hearted killer, even though he's killed 2,000 people. Which, right. But he won't kill this guy. The main bad guy he won't kill, but he'll kill all those of poor soldiers.
Yeah.
That shit, it's a bit of lack. But, it's just a corny B-movie game, and it's cracking. I mean... And it's they nail the pace in this bit. Like I said, apart from where it starts to get a bit gratuitous and long in the last final act, I thought the pace and some cracking missions at the beginning when you're in an auction in Italy and in the Scottish Highlands. Some absolutely stunning, really, really good missions. And honestly, Uncharted 4 is absolutely cracking. Probably up there with Overwatch for my game of the year this year.
Ooh.
Honestly. I understand Nick's complaints about how the shooting gets in the way of the actual game and stuff, and I completely agreed with him in the first 3, but I think in this one, just nails it. I'm happy. I'm really happy. Oh, Jim, you've played 2 other games. You've played Escapists and Dangerous Golf. Why don't you rattle through them, give us some lowdowns, and then we'll
I can't talk too much about Escapists, because I played it very, very, very briefly. I'm talking half an hour is all I managed to
I love it. I think it's great, but stick with it. Honestly, it's kind of hard to begin with, but you'll love it. It's so good.
I'm finding it strange, like trying to obviously, like I understand that I'm having to follow a routine, but then try and find a way to break that routine without being seen. And I think I ended up punching somebody, and I knocked them out, got sent away, I think by the guards, or got beaten to death or whatever, or beaten sent to the infirmary, and then the guy that I originally punched came back to like have some retribution on me, so I wasn't expecting that. And then again I was back in the infirmary, so like it's 2 days past. So like is there a time limit on what I'm doing? Because I don't understand. Am I there for say a 5-year sentence and I have to escape within 2 years, or what? Because
there's no time limit. I usually escape,
right?
But I did the easier prisons. I played it on PC. I didn't play it on PS4, but there is no time limit. I don't think. I'm pretty sure it does count down the days. It does say day, like day 1, day 2, but I think that's just like for score purposes. Like it adds a record if you get out in like 1 day. It'll be like record 1 day breakout or whatever.
See,
but I don't think that is like a time limit or anything.
Well, I was trying to rush around. I was like every chance I had some every time I had free time, I was running off to places, going, rifling through people's desks, grabbing what I can, and like where I've only, like I said, for half an hour, I didn't really get to play much of it, and so I don't know what items to combine to craft things to help me on my way, and so I'm still figuring out the
really
game.
Hard.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed, you know, like I said, half an hour isn't really much time at all. But I did enjoy what I played. And I also played a little bit of the Walking Dead. I think it's a standalone, isn't it? It's not an expansion, it's a standalone.
I think it is a standalone,
Yeah, so I played
I haven't played any of that. Escapists
totally different.
I feel like with The Walking Dead after a few seasons, and I feel like they've almost ruined it by having it in almost every franchise possible. Like there's Walking Dead everything now.
This is comic book Walking Dead rather than AMC.
Yeah. AMC's Walking Dead. I've actually have heard good things about The Walking Dead, Escapists. So you have to keep me posted on that one. I know it was cheap on the PSN sale.
That's exactly why I got it. I got the bundle for I think it was about £6.30 something. So if anyone's out there and they wanted to give it a try, now's the time.
It's definitely a bargain.
I've actually got Escapists, so I may well try it at some point. I should do that. And finally, Dangerous Golf. I heard a bit about this. Apparently there's been an update recently that made it quite better than it was.
If there has been an update, I wouldn't know. What I have played, I've enjoyed. I think it's going to get very tiring, though, to be honest with you. I don't see there being much longevity in it. Okay. It's enjoyable for, I think, like something to dip into, bash a few balls around, cause some destruction, but it's nothing that I'm going to spend serious time into. It looks very pretty though. Some of the physics and the destruction is really nice. But yeah, no, I've enjoyed it. But like I said, I can't see myself playing it in a couple of weeks' time.
Well, you have to keep us posted on that one as well, won't you?
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's been pretty extensive. Probably the most action-packed podcast we've had for a while. But alas, it is time to say goodbye. Of course, this has been the GodisaGeek podcast, brought to you by who else but GodisaGeek.com. You can go over there to read all sorts of stuff. Man, there's reviews, previews, interviews, videos, all that type of shite that you love. So go and check it out. Of course, you can also go to youtube.com/GodisaGeek, where all the videos are home properly. You know what YouTube is. Just fucking go there. You can go to Twitter @GodisaGeek. Yeah, that's the one. And that's where we are on Twitter. And of course, facebook.com/GodisaGeek as well. And if you'd be ever so kind, you can scooty on over to patreon.com/GodisaGeek, throw a couple of quid our way, and it goes a long way, literally, to send me and Gregory to Germany to go for Gamescom, innit, Gregory?
Yes, that's so.
What a shit show.
I'm actually paying you guys.
Yes. Yeah, paying it right into our corrupt little pockets, man. That. It says right in if you get the magnifying glass, it's like section 5.4 of the terms and conditions that it's paying mine and Greg's holidays to Germany.
Cheeky bastards. Cheeky.
So cheers, lads. I'd appreciate it, lads. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter @TheBrosky. You can follow Greg on Twitter @GregHill. And Jim, since your first podcast, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on Twitter and plug anything else that you'd like to plug?
First of all, I have to plug entertainmentbuddha.com. Another indie website. They do all kinds of things, all kinds of geek stuff. So comic books, films, not just games. There's loads of different stuff there. So definitely go check those guys out. And you can follow me on Twitter, and it's @10Bensons, all one word. Not Ted, as everyone seems to think I am Ted Bensons, but 10, Ten Bensons.
Smashing. Well, everyone, unless there's nothing left to say, I think it's time to say goodbye. So say goodbye, Greg.
Goodbye, Greg.
Say goodbye, Jim.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Jim.
And it's goodbye from me, Sarah.